Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today, we've got a new deck profile for you. It's been a minute, but I've kind of been waiting for this set. I've been eyeballing this set. There's a couple of really cool things in here. I have a couple deck profiles after this one that I'm going to delve into for sure. This is a super early beta build of like the FIEND pile. It's just pretty much the best FIEND engines in the game put together. There's some stuff that I quite liked about this deck today, and there's also some stuff I really dislike. I went to my first locals with it. Today, I went 2-2, started off well 2-0, and then I had two close losses and ended up dropping from there. Didn't want to finish the last round because Johnny was tired. It was bedtime. But his roar, Jesus. But anyway, what we're looking at here is a really cool FIEND pile deck where the idea is kind of the same thing as Eldritch builds that we have seen over the last couple of years, in that where the Eldritch engine was like the backbone of that strategy, and then you had like a more powerful pushing engine, whether it was like Invoke Dogmatica, whether you're talking about like Synchro Eldritch at a time, something like that. That was the idea. If you could resolve the Unchained combo, it got you multiple interruptions, but if not, you kind of just play Labyrinth, and that's the backbone of the deck. At least that's the idea, but I kind of just ended up playing a lot of Labyrinth today, to be honest. But we'll talk about that as we go. All right, so let's get into it, starting off with the main deck here with the most important engine, the Labyrinth engine. It's by far the best FIEND engine in the game. One Ariana, one Lady, and one Lovely. I'm not going to lie to you, I did not miss any copies of these at all today. I didn't feel like I wanted it. Well, obviously, you never want more than one copy of this, but I didn't even feel like I wanted more of these. I think if it's just going to be the backbone of your deck, you have more powerful normal summons, so just the one Ariana. And because we're on other FIEND stuff, you're not always making this alive turn one. So, that's totally okay to not play multiple of her. But that felt good, the 1-1-1 ratio. Then for the furniture, we actually play 3 copies of Stovey, 3 copies of Chandraglier, and 1 copy of Kuklok. This is also somewhat standard for furniture builds. I know some lists go super hard on Kuklok for the utility it can get you on like making traps live quickly. But yeah, these are fine. I mean, these are what they are. They get you into your Labyrinth cards. They -1 at first, but they end up making up the value later on. They were good. No problems there. And I also will say, I don't think I used Kuklok a single time, which is kind of a bummer. So yeah, but I don't know if I'd cut it necessarily. Okay, moving on. Into the level 3 FIEND engine, we have triple copies of Tour Guide. This is the real normal summon of the deck. It gets you so much more value. It's a 1-card combo. We play 1 Doomdog Octhros and 1 Skarm, as well as a Farfa as well to pair with it, sort of. So this is the level 3 FIEND package. You can also technically summon Chandraglier off of under Tour Guide as well. But the 1-card combo goes through Octhros. I'll actually do a quick run through of the 1-card combo when we're done with the extra deck at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. Just real quick on how like the 1-card line goes going first. And then these were good utility. These honestly weren't bad. I know sometimes these like look like bricks, but with the furniture cards able to pitch it, with the Unchained guy able to pitch them, and then obviously them being sendable from deck for a Ghastly Glitch, it's actually not bad at all. It's actually just fine, but they're not mandatory. There's definitely an argument to cut them and make more room for other stuff, for sure. Unchained ended. 1 copy of the new card, Unchained Soul of Shavara, and 1 copy of Abominable Unchained Soul. I know in some of the OCG lists, they just don't play this guy at all. I totally get that, except he actually wasn't bad today. But just okay. Like, this card is fine, but there's definitely another world where we are able to do some lines that don't, where you can cut him as well. There's a couple cards I think are cuttable. And to be fair, because this is a first iteration, I think the idea for me was like, I'm going to try kind of a little bit of everything. That way I'll get a better perspective on what can stick, what can't, what was worth it, what wasn't. This honestly wasn't bad. I don't know if I'm going to keep it going forward, but yeah, I mean, you have to play Shavara if you're going to play the Unchained variant. Cool card, really good card. And the last package here, and this one was by far the most suspect. Triple Genta, the Gateman of Dark World. The idea was this was like a small draw engine that gave you an extra FIEND body to like potentially make the link to, even if you didn't open Tour Guide. But this was not very good today. There were a couple times where he was like fine. I think there were 1 or 2 times where he was okay, but I drew the field spell 2 times and it was like awful. And even sometimes where I drew Genta, it didn't really do anything. I just, even for a deck that had 20 Fiend monsters in it, I found myself like not wanting to discard anything because I had like a furniture in hand. I'm like, the trap is just more valuable than what this guy, or this draw could be. So yeah. Not bad, or sorry, not good. 100% cut it. It was duty. Got to get rid of it. Monster hand traps. I just played 3 Ash, 2 Droll. You know, basic stuff. We're kind of early into a new format, so just kind of some basic stuff. The one gate. It was the 2 times where I was like resolving this multiple times. It was pretty good because I was able to just get Genta back every time. But it was not good enough to continue playing, especially not for 4 slots in the main deck. Definitely not. Triple Book of Moon. This card sucked ass today. I think one time this was okay. I think going second, I broke a Scareclaw board and then booked one of his monsters, so he couldn't make the Link 3 again. But other than that, I think I drew this like 2 or 3 times. I sided this out like almost every match. The idea for this was the idea that technically until we get a ban list, Kashtira is still like one of the scarier decks for this deck. And this isn't out to a Rise Heart essentially, so we don't just auto lose to the macro effect. But this was terrible today. Maybe you could side it if you're really scared of like Kashtira, but I definitely don't think it's worth maining. I would definitely swap it for something else. Traps. Triple, big welcome, of course, 1 regular welcome. This I think is fine for like a smaller-ish Labyrinth engine where you don't want to go all in on like welcome. Only needed 1. I didn't even want it the times I drew it, to be honest, but it was fine. 1 copy of Escape. You play this for the Unchained engine. It's part of the end board payoff of that. 1 Archfiend's Ghastly Glitch. Cool utility card. This is you probably cut this if you choose not to play Skarm and Farfa. But if you play those, it's pretty good, man. It's just a pop plus like a follow-up search, or it's a pop plus an extra banish, which is pretty strong. So it's either a really strong interruption or a decent interruption with a follow-up. So it's good value. And then D-Barrier. This I did not use a single time today. Actually, I think I said it 1 time and then my opponent scooped. So I guess to be fair, this was maybe a card that kind of sealed up a duel, but yeah, didn't really use it too much today, to be honest. But I'd still probably continue playing it. Feels like most of the decks in the format, like when it's focused on 1 summoning condition for the most part. And then triple imperm to finish up. Yeah, just good. This one I'm not cutting. It's just good. I ashed and impermed a branded player game 3, and he plays a weird Nadir Servant build. And so Nadir Servant pretty much like carried him through the rest of the duel, and I could not beat him, even through ash and imperm. It was tough, very tough. All right, so that's it for the main deck. That is 40 in the main. Nothing super crazy there. Again, I might cut all 4 of these spells, which is really funny. Maybe Prosperity is something to look at, because I'm not gonna lie. I think I summoned Muckracker once. I think I summoned obviously the Unchained guys, the 2 main Unchained guys, but Phoenix, Dark, Unicorn, Abomination, and Underworld Goddess, and all the Exceeds, I never summoned a single time. So yeah, Prosperity is definitely something that maybe could be looked at in this version as well. Because then it also helps you find like Tour Guide more consistently, which is kind of nice. Okay, but for this, 2 Unchained, Soul King Yama, I don't think I ever used the second one. Because like if the first one resolves, but I guess that was the idea, is like if the first one gets impermed or negated or whatever, the second one is kind of nice. But that's another reason why Prosperity could be good, is that using the second ones just don't matter. Soul of Rage, really good. This card, I made this 2 or 3 times today. It was quite strong when I did. I think every time I resolved combo, I just won. But yeah, 1 Muckraker, pretty good. I think I used it once today. Phoenix, Dark. Sorry, for the rest of the Link 2s. Phoenix, the deck just doesn't have a ton of backer removal. It has a lot of monster removal though, so Phoenix is kind of nice for that potentially. And then Dark, don't expect it to come up much, but theoretically it certainly could. For 3s, Anguish and Unicorn. Did not make Unicorn, but I made Anguish I think once or twice, so that was fine. 1 Abomination, 1 Underworld Goddess. Did not make either of these, but they're cool. Like if you ever are spamming the board and in like a sticky board state, you can definitely clean boards up with both of these guys, and they're fiends, so you're not locked out of them at all. This I thought I might have gone into at least once today, but I did not make it a single time. In fact, there was a time where I had an Ash Blossom on field, and I went to normal summon a Shang Dragli, and then I remembered this needs 2 Fiends specifically, and realized I was just blown out of that duel. So that was rough. But yeah, interesting. Never made it. Not sure where that leaves me going forward, but I will definitely think about these. And to be fair, there may just not be enough like realistic stuff to like try and slide in those slots, but whatever. And last card, Chaos Angel. Made this once today. Pretty much won me a duel. I think I ended up just banishing a back row with it, beating over something, clearing a board in a simplified board state, and that was all she wrote. So yeah, that's it for the extra. Nothing too crazy there, I think. I think a lot of that stuff kind of makes sense. There's not too much I would like look at as far as cutting. I just think some of its niche utility for when it might specifically come up, and it didn't come up. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish up ourselves with a little tiny combo tutorial. I know the zones are kind of weird here, but you'll get the gist. It's pretty simple, to be honest. So it's just Tour Guide, right? Your 1-card combo. So the zones are going to be weird, but stick with me here. Normal summon Tour Guide. Tour Guide is going to go ahead and summon Doomdag Octhros out of the deck. You will take both of these into Soul King Yama. Yama's effect, Chainlink 1, Doomdag Octhros, Chainlink 2 to search any level 8 Fiend. We're going to go ahead and grab the big Abominable Unchained Soul, and then Yama will go ahead and grab the other guy, the new guy, Shavara. From there, we can use Shavara targeting the Yama to destroy it, to special himself from hand, in which case we can trigger Abominable Unchained Soul as well to special him, and then we can just take these two into Unchained Soul of Rage. That's going to trigger Shavara Engrave, and Shavara will go ahead and set Escape. So just off of that, it doesn't look like a lot because all you really have is Rage and Escape, but that's actually pretty good. So what we really have here in total is the ability to start with Escape or Rage, quick effect, link itself off with an opponent's monster, which is very cool removal. And then you can make Anguish. Normally you're making Anguish here because you can escape, target any card your opponent controls, destroy one Unchained monster you control and a card they control. So you would pop Anguish and something they control, and then Anguish Engrave would trigger to, actually you have 2 triggers here. So you would Anguish trigger to add something from grave back to hand, and you would also Yama, banishing Yama to reborn any Fiend. So you could technically reborn Rage again if you wanted, but you could also reborn Abominable Unchained Soul. You could actually do that as, it doesn't matter what chain link you make it, but, and then add back a Fiend, and then pitch the Fiend immediately for Unchained Soul to pop another card. So technically you have 2 pops and the ability to take an opponent's monster for link material off of just this 1-card combo. It's cool. That's the whole idea, is if that resolves, it gets you some pretty good interruption and grindability, because you could also just choose to add back like Tour Guide off of Anguish, and then boom, you just have another follow-up normal summon. But if all else fails, you just kind of play Labyrinth, and you just grind it out, and I won multiple duels that way today, for sure. So it's a cool idea. This deck was not perfect at all. 100% cutting the Dark World engine, straight up, the whole thing. I will contemplate on Skarm and Farfa, and I'll also contemplate, like obviously Book of Moon needs to go, but I'll also contemplate Abominable Unchained Soul as well. There's just ways to trim the deck down, trim the fat you could make for Pot of Prosperity, maybe some other defensive cards. There were definitely some hands where I kind of wish I had something going second, for sure. But all in all, deck wasn't bad. I mean, I went 2-0 to start, and then I lost 2 close game 3s to end up 2-2. So I can't really complain too much, especially for a variant that I saw clear flaws with as I was playing it. So I'll take it. Not a bad start, just a first iteration. I want to build this out from here, get a little more concise, get a little more accurate on where I want the ratios, but I just want to show you guys my first iteration of the deck, and hopefully this gives you a good place to start if you're interested in this type of Labyrinth slash Unchained slash just Fiend pile deck of your own. But yeah, that's it for me here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one down the line. And let me know your thoughts down below. Any suggestions for cards I'm not playing here that you definitely recommend? I would love to hear your thoughts on that, guys. I'm really trying to you know, improve on this list and maybe take it a couple more times and try to get to the next level with it. But I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.